Welcome to the latest episode of Branding the Experience. We discuss ways how we can create environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. Hi, I'm Ken Bader, your host for Branding the Experience. Our subject today, a branding opportunity lost. Now, you heard me talk about the situation in the NFL with the Bills-Bengals game and Damar Hamlin on how the NFL got it right that night when that young man almost died on the field and they suspended the game. They said, you know what, we'll figure this out later. Nothing is more important than this individual's health and well-being, as well as all the players that had to see that and have him get revived right in front of them. I can't even imagine what that would be like. But it's interesting from a brand culture strategy standpoint. Yeah, it's so difficult to get a split decision made correctly sometimes. We'll use the NFL as an example. Sometimes, some quarterbacks throw an interception when they're under pressure. Other times, they see the open man and they make an incredible play for a touchdown. And the NFL got a touchdown on this one where, hey, we don't really know what to do. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, the only thing that's important is Damar Hamlin's health and the mental health of our players. Let's figure this out later. Well done on a split decision, a split second decision, I should say. At the very moment, they got it right. But then, when you had time to think for a little bit, it feels like they missed an opportunity. As the tagline says, where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. Granted, customers, fans will continue to come back to the NFL because it's a great game. And it seems even when they water it down with rules or make changes or do things that people don't like, people still keep coming back because it's a fun game and it's entertainment and it's an entertaining thing that families get involved in. I mean, I remember, when my father-in-law was still alive and we would all get together for Thanksgiving, football was a big part of that day and everybody kind of understood it. Even the people that didn't really like football understood that football was a big part of that day. So that's part of the NFL brand. Yeah, in terms of that, I think they really missed an opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong. I am pleased with the fact that they suspended the game that night. And I'm so pleased that we've had this great reporting and, more important, great news on Damar Hamlin. As of the recording of this particular episode, I understand he left a Buffalo hospital. He was sent home. I mean, the man was literally a hair from death. And, now he's walking around and he's going home. That is an amazing story. I'm so happy for Damar Hamlin. I'm so happy about all of the great things that happened because of it outside of football. I think his charity got millions and millions of dollars. It'll help a ton of kids. And also, as a secondary piece, I'm so pleased at the accolades for the first responders that saved his life. As many of you know, I also am a huge supporter of all first responders, and I'm so pleased that the Hamlin family and so many other people have given great accolades to the first responders on that night. That is a definite positive out of this. But canceling the game completely, in terms of customers coming back, it had a ripple effect that I don't think was necessarily positive. It messed up a number of fan experience out there on the smallest level. I mean, even fantasy football teams were messed up with championship games. I even lost a friendship over that, which, frankly, doesn't say much about the NFL. It says more about that particular gentleman, complaining about a $150 game. But I digress. It created a ripple effect of negativity. First and foremost, you think, all right, well, those first responders that saved Damar Hamlin's life, they had to go back to work. And it's not lost on me that the players of the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals had an issue to deal with, mentally and psychologically. But, I think that instead of canceling the game and creating issues among other teams, I understand the Cincinnati Bengals aren't happy. It's possible that the fans of the Buffalo Bills, because they didn't get the number one seed, may lose out on a Super Bowl appearance. I think that playing the game not only could have been a positive when, people do have issues and eventually they have to go back to work. They need the help, they need the counseling and so forth. But, first responders and the people that do care for these individuals, they see some terrible things. And granted, I'm glad that they do get psychological help that they need, but they eventually need to get back to work. And I think that given the fact that we've got millionaires here on Buffalo and Cincinnati, that they should want to go back to work and play that game, that the NFL really could have used this as a positive branding experience. They could have played that game for Damar. They could have used the funds from that game for his charity to give to first responders. They could have really rallied more positivity over playing that game, also without creating a lot of ripple effects later on through the playoffs and beyond. So I certainly am happy of the way and pleased that Damar Hamlin's doing so well. And that's become such a great story, not just in the NFL, but for people. And that the NFL did the right thing at the time. But I think they really missed a branding opportunity for the right reasons. To play that game, to play it for Damar, to play it for his charity, to really use that as another rallying cry, especially given the fact that at the time that week, Damar was getting the best care that he could possibly get. And each day, great news was coming out and he was getting better. So what can we learn from that? Well, I think, number one is obvious from a standpoint of our tagline, creating environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back, is thinking what's best for our employees and customers at the time, as the NFL did right at the time, but also understanding with sincerity and authenticity how we can use and leverage what is a bad event and a great feeling in the right way to do more great things. And maybe that is to partner with a local charity, maybe that is to rally a community, but don't miss those opportunities to continue to ride a wave of positivity, not for the sake of cash flow, but for the sake of building a brand, building relationships, and doing more of the right thing. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And as always, here's hoping that you're branding the experience at a very high level for all those you serve. Do you need a speaker for your next conference? Maybe a facilitator for your next strategic planning or training session? A full program with expert panelists and interactive exercises for attendees? Or maybe you need an MC for your next event. I'm here to help and have the expertise to be a part of an amazing agenda for your audience. Learn more about beta training and consulting at www.btcinc.net, or better yet, just contact me directly at kbader@btcinc.net, and let's talk about your next event, next training session, or next summit.